to our viewing audience, and welcome to another edition of Meak Media live on location. We're here at the 11th annual Bayard, Rustin, and Audre Lorde breakfast, which has been going on for many years right here at the St. Mark United Methodist Church in Midtown Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to be giving you some brief coverage of the actual breakfast as well as the speakers that's going to be featured on this morning on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, special holiday in tribute to King and the King family, as well as to Bayard Rustin, who is the official organizer of the March on Washington, which is celebrating 50 years of the actual organization of the March on Washington and the I Have a Dream speech. We're going to give you some brief cameo interviews with the organizers of the Bayard Rustin and Audre Lorde breakfast, as well as some of our guests. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in.
I think about it. When I haven't got anything at all. So we're going to move forward this morning unto our next part, and we're going to pour what is known as libation. And libation is an African, and it's done in many other cultures in different ways, and it's called different things. But it's a way to bring the energy, to bring the life force, to bring the wisdom of our ancestors, those who have gone on before us, into the space that we are in today. So simply, what we have here is water. We then pour water, as we call those names of our ancestors, those folks that we want to bring into the room today, back to the earth. And then we actually after we say that, we say Ashe, meaning and so it is, meaning that we are confirming and affirming that they are with us here this morning. And so this is a part for everyone, that everybody can participate in, for us to put those names, to bring those spirits, those ancestors into the space with us this morning. And so we will start.
Therefore, be it resolved that the 12th annual Bayard Rustin Audre Lorde breakfast is organized for the great work that they do. Signed, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners and Joan Gardner. And Joan is not here. She is at home ill. So let's send some good healing vibes her way so she can feel better. Ashe.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 12th annual Bayard Rustin Audre Lorde breakfast, Reimagining the Dream. We are so glad you're here. Give yourselves some applause. Thank you for showing up. My name is Craig Washington, and along with Darlene Hudson, actually we co-founded this event. And so I want to start actually by thanking some folks. That's key. Got to show some appreciation. And I would really like to begin by thanking the planning committee that worked so hard to put this event together. All right? So I'm going to name a few names. And we're going to be thanking folks throughout the day. Annalise Sang. That's it. Annalise, where are you? Okay. Reverend Marissa Penderman. Stephanie Guillou. Maurice Cook. Where's Maurice? Buck Cook. James Sheffield. And Amber Moore. I want to thank where's Amber? Okay. And Josh Noblet. Josh Noblet. Where are you, Josh? Josh Noblet serves as the Minister of Social Justice here, and he's our official host. Thank you so much, Josh, for all the support you've given us. Also want to thank the key sponsors and partners who set the tone. He set the tone for acceptance there. And it just so happened that the Atlanta Gay and Lesbian Center was only about 5 blocks away from the March lineup site. So eventually it dawned on Darlene and I that we had the opportunity to set up a space, a meeting space for people to gather before they joined the march. And from that point on, this breakfast assured us a warm place to gather, to share a meal, and enjoy each other's company. Kind of like having a reserved table for us on MLK Day. And as I reflect on the history and the value of the breakfast, I'm reminded of Brother Essex Hemphill in the opening line of his poem, For My Own Protection, where he says, I want to start an organization to save my life. Yes. Because for those of us that were black and gay and trans and bi and queer, we needed a ritual that honors who we are. And so we moved by continuing the tradition of honoring Bayard Rustin on MLK. And that was a tradition that was set by black gay activists like Duncan T, Joan Garner, Pat Hussein, our beloved Tony Daniels, Faye Bell-Mahi. And so many of us didn't know Rustin, that lifelong pacifist, that civil rights architect, the lead organizer of the 1963 March on Washington, without whom it wouldn't have started. It wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have the Bayard, who was gay. And served as a mentor to Dr. King. From the U.S. South to South Africa, from Grenada to India, and back to the LGBT movement here, Rustin worked for freedom. And so from that first breakfast, which drew about 40 people, to this day, January 21st, and you see what the room looks like, the original organizers of the Montgomery bus boycott, women, before the men came in and the women were erased. Women like Rosa Parks, Joanne Robinson, Viola Liozzo, a white woman who was killed for her participation in the movement. From Fannie Lou Hamer to Sherry Moraga, to Pat Hussein, to Keisha Cunningham, to Representative Simone Bell, to Commissioner Joan Garner, to Representative Keisha Waits. It was in this spirit that we added Audre Lorde's name to this event. For that visionary teacher, that radical genius, feminist poet, warrior, was also cross-targeted by racism and homophobia and sexism. So we take responsibility to teach her history because she speaks to us today. Each year, the breakfast challenges us to apply the lessons that Bayard and Audre left us, for us. Yesterday, I was listening to one of my favorite Whitney Houston songs where she says, there's a road I have to follow, a place I have to go. Well, no one told me how to get there, but when I get there, I know. Taking it step by step. Bayard and Audre left us tools to figure out where to step. So how do I apply, as a gay man living with AIDS, looking healthy, how do I apply her lesson, your silence will not protect you? Audre also said that it's not difference that immobilizes us, it's silence. When we consider the plight of undocumented brown and black immigrants in your country, your state, your city, will you ask yourself, what would Bayard Rustin do? WWBD, right? As we speak this moment, the nation's first black president is being inaugurated for a second term.
You're tuned in to Meak Productions syndicated shows, live on location. Don't go anywhere. We do have more in store.
After I came out, many of my friends stopped hanging out with me because of all the teasing from other kids.
How would you feel if others treated you like you didn't belong at school, on a sports team, at church, or even in your own home?
Gay and transgender youth are made to feel like they don't fit in.
We've all been hurt by words before. So before you speak, think about how your words might affect someone else.
You have the power to make a difference.
To find out how, go to glad.org. That's GLAAD.org.
How you really feel about me loving you? How I really feel about me loving you? How you really feel about me loving you? Tell me now, don't be straight, let me know what to do. How you really feel about me loving you? How I really feel about me loving me? How you really feel about me loving you? Tell me now, tell me straight, let me know what to do. wanna have to wait. Tell it to me straight. I don't wanna have to wait.
I love them. That's what I do every day. I work for DFACS. I make sure the kids are safe and that they're taken care of. That's my business there. So let me start by saying again, good morning and peace be with you on this wonderful Martin Luther King holiday. And as they sang in my church, my Lord, what a morning. What you telling me, Maceo? Okay, you ain't telling me nothing. All right then. Welcome to the 12th annual Rustin Lorde Breakfast, which has been held over the last several years on MLK weekend. As we take time to remember the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and rededicate ourselves to continuing his work, we also lift up the names of Rustin and Lorde for their many contributions to the civil rights movement as openly gay people. Now, some of this might sound like a little bit of redundancy, but Craig works on his and I works on mine, and they asked me to write from my perspective. So you're going to hear a few little things they may say, oh, didn't they just say that? Well, yes, we did. But that's how we think. He was over on his side writing, I was over on my side writing. And this is what this is what we've come up with. So this year is especially historic because we are also celebrating the inauguration of our 45th president, Barack Obama. You can clap again. And the 50th year of the March on Washington, where King gave the famous I Have a Dream speech. And y'all take a little time and think about that. When he gave that speech, here we are 50 years later, and we have our, for the second round, Black president. Yeah. Okay? Y'all, ain't no love in that? All right. Y'all waiting for the next round. Okay, here we go. I just want to take a few minutes this morning to talk about Lorde Rustin Breakfast from the perspective of an organizer and how they impacted me. But before I begin, I want to acknowledge the many volunteers. The ability to do this, to me epitomized the ultimate in community organizing. While the march was a one-time event, it grew from years of meeting, networking, fundraising, dialoguing, and nonviolent civil disobedience. Now there's a lesson in that, and I hope you all catch it. We don't just show up on one day and think that it's done. It takes behind the scenes. We have to come together and collaborate. A word that we used to use, coalesce. That means you got to shed something, you got to share something. So let me just keep going. I didn't get no to do on that one, Craig, but all right. There's a lesson there. It was during a time when that kind of organizing could cost you your life. And needless to say, it was way before internet and Facebook, which have made organizing easier these days. Can you imagine a man walking around with file cards in his hand, checking off, making sure? Well, I got a little fancy clipboard that I use today. But it was just a phenomenal of how he was able to do that. And a lot of people have tried to do that march and have not been able to be as successful as he was. All of his committees were at that time. Okay? So I think about the hardships he faced as an organizer. He really didn't have any kind of steady income, but yet the phenomenal job he did changed history. Likewise, I fell in love with Audre Lorde because of her teachings that demand that I expand my thinking to learn to appreciate differences. For her, differences are not so bad per se. Our challenge is finding the points of where we connect. Both Rustin and Lorde, in an unselfish way, advanced the cause of social justice and left inspirational words and courageous examples for us to not only admire, but to follow. As an organizer and a person of faith, I took on organizing the breakfast as a way of offering space for fellowship for our community, the LGBTQI